So I'd like to call this meeting to order for the MPO Policy Committee on May 8th, 2020. First item is approval of the agenda.
Move approval.
I have a motion.
Second.
And I have a second. All those in favor for approving the agenda as submitted? Do you want so do you want to do the nays and the abstentions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I understand it as the way we're going to do the voting is if I'm going to ask you if you have any nays or abstentions before the vote, and if there is none, then that satisfies that it would be a unanimous approval. So do I have any nays or abstentions on the approval of the agenda? Seeing none. Ryan, correct?
Right.
Okay. So that passes unanimously. The next item is approval of the minutes for March 13th, 2020.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Do I have any nays or abstentions to this item? Seeing none, hearing none. It passes unanimously. And I did forget an item for introductions, so I apologize for that at the beginning. So I am Lisa Ridge. I'm chairman of the board and Monroe County Highway Director.
Dave, you want to go next?
Oh, are you talking to me?
Yes. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
looking at who's got a camera and who doesn't.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dave Warren. This is my first meeting. I come from the Monroe County Plan Commission, and I'm really happy to be here working with you.
Terry, you're next on the camera.
Okay, Terry Porter, Director of Planning and Transportation, and I am proxy for Mayor Hamilton today.
Kate, you're next.
I'm Kate Wilkes, Monroe County Council, District 2.
Okay, Jillian, you're next.
Hi, Jillian Kinsey. I'm with the Bloomington Plan Commission.
Okay, then Matt.
Hey there, Matt Flaherty with the Bloomington Common Council. I just wanted to mention briefly too that had a bit of an emergency situation today with a 29-year-old water heater that has failed, and I have people in my house fixing it right now. So I may need to go on mute or disable my video or jump off periodically throughout the meeting. Hopefully not during any votes, but I think we have in excess of a quorum anyway. Anyway, just wanted to mention that. Hope you're all doing well.
Okay, thank you. Sarah?
Yeah, Sarah Ryder-Bend, co-chair or no, vice chair of the MPO Policy Committee. And I just wanted to welcome both Dave and Jillian to the MPO.
Thank you.
And then Jim Shelton.
Hi, I'm Jim Shelton with the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce, and I'm part of the audience. I may be the audience.
Yeah, I believe you, well, you and Katz. Okay, thank you so much. Erica?
Hi, I'm Erica Tay with Federal Highway Administration Indiana Division.
Okay, and I think that's everybody right there.
I think you have Adam's proxy on here.
Oh, Nate. Nate, are you there?
Yes, this is Nate Nickel with the City of Bloomington Public Works Department and proxying today for Adam Wason, the Public Works Director for the city.
Thank you, Nate. I'm sorry, I saw the 232 number and I didn't know. Okay.
And are you going to introduce yourself, Pat?
Oh, I'm sorry, Pat Martin, MPO staff.
And I'm Ryan Clemens, and I'm also with the MPO staff.
Okay.
Great, thank you. The next item on the agenda is communications from the chair. I just had a small statement that I wanted to read. So as the chair of this board, I want to say that I hope everyone is staying healthy and safe. These are difficult times upon us with no one knowing the final impacts that it will create for all of us in our daily lives. I know we all have had some tie to this terrible virus, either with a family member, a coworker, a friend, and it has touched all of our lives. I have found some positive things during this pandemic. It has made us all slow down, spend more time with family at home, and appreciate what we have. The community will be starting the process of lifting the stay-at-home in the upcoming weeks. I ask that everyone have patience and adhere to all the guidelines that are set for the community. Working together to keep everyone safe and healthy can help us all to get back to our normal daily routines. But I suspect we will all have a new norm in our lives as we move forward. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is reports from officers and/or committees. And the first one is Citizens Advisory Committee. Sarah?
Yeah, sure. The Citizens Advisory Committee met virtually, and we looked at all of the things that are on this policy committee's agenda, and we recommended approval of the items, which will be up for a vote today.
All right, thank you, Sarah. It's my understanding that we did not have a quorum for the Technical Advisory Committee. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So we do
no recommendations.
Okay. Then we go to reports from the MPO staff, COVID/19 staff availability and calendar year 2020 meeting schedule.
Okay, I wanted to let everybody know that we are available. Ryan and I are available the entire time. We're both working remotely. The calendar schedule will remain the same for the Citizens Advisory Committee, Technical Advisory Committee, and the Policy Committee for the remainder of the year. We had one cancellation in April for the Policy Committee, and we had a cancellation also for the Citizens and the Technical Advisory Committees at the end of March. That was until we acquired our Zoom license. Now that we've acquired those, we'll be meeting continually the rest of the year. Whether we ever meet in person for the remainder of the year is a question. We don't know that, probably not. So the assumption is that we'll be meeting virtually from now on. But Ryan and I are available anytime you need us. You have our emails, I believe, from the packet distributions to you. So please feel free to contact us at any time and we'll get back with you immediately. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you.
All right. Thank you, Patrick. The next item is Bloomington, Monroe County MPO bylaws update.
Okay, yeah, so really the only reason why this is in here, because as you all know, the policy committee passed these bylaws at the March meeting, and this is just in here to provide the updated version in its entirety and all the revisions in the packet for you, so you all have a copy of it.
All right.
That's
Any
it.
Questions or comments?
There's questions, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Seeing none. The next item is the draft for the 2045 Metropolitan Transportation Plan.
Okay, that's what I wanted to do was let you know what our current schedule is. We're required, the Bloomington Monroe County Metropolitan Planning Organization is required to have a newly adopted or updated Metropolitan Transportation Plan by the end of this calendar year. Our intent is to have a plan complete and adopted for the Policy Committee the second week of October. Our current schedule is actually on schedule except for the public participation. We had 2 public meetings in March, the first part of March, one in Ellettsville and at Town Hall. We had the second meeting also at Bloomington Transit Downtown Transfer Center. They were sparsely attended, as in barely attended. We had 2 additional meetings scheduled for April. Both of those meetings were canceled because of the COVID-19 issue. We have 2 other meetings, public meetings scheduled for August. Those are currently off right now. We will probably arrange those as Facebook Live and Zoom type of public participation meetings. And then the remainder of our schedule will be the same, where we We currently have an 80 to 85% complete draft right now. All of the chapters, which are complete in draft form, are posted on our website for the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. We will have 2 additional chapters coming out this month, and we anticipate having the plan, I would call it 95% complete by the end of this month. The schedule, like I said, is we will present everything to the committees, to all 3 committees, prior to the July recess. July, we do not meet. August, when we come back, we will have what I call a total working draft of the document itself. And then we will go through those with comments for all the committees and do a 30-day public comment period. And then we're looking for a recommendation, hopefully favorably, by the Citizens Advisory Committee and the Technical Advisory Committee in September at their September meetings. And then we're looking for a scheduled adoption by the Policy Committee in October, the second week of October. And I can send to you the updated schedule. The schedule has been somewhat fluid because the COVID-19 was something that we didn't anticipate, obviously. But we've adjusted to the whole thing, and we're still on schedule for adoption in October of this year. And I'll be happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
Pat, can you tell me, well, first I just wanted to say I've had a little bit more time to live with and review the draft document. It's an outstanding document. You both have done a wonderful job. Should really be proud of the work that you've put into it. It's very informative. It's a very important document. I think we need to try and figure out some way to get more public participation, more people aware of all of the work that's being thought through 2045. I mean, maybe that's kind of what is a stumper for people. I can't think past tomorrow, let alone 2045, but it's outstanding. So I did want to ask you, you said 2 additional chapters this month. What chapters are those?
We will have a chapter on methodology, and we hope to have a chapter on future transportation needs. I also have an executive summary written. The executive summary is fluid because that depends a lot upon the public comments we get, and also the comments from the Technical Advisory Committee, Citizens Advisory Committee, and the Policy Committee. So in outline form, the executive summary is out there, but it's behind the curtain. The methodology chapter will come out at the end of this month, and then the future transportation needs will also come out this month. Some of the things that we wrote up to this point in time, such as the financial forecast, that changed dramatically with a drop in vehicle miles of travel and revenue receipts for gas tax and other sources. All of that has dropped dramatically, but what we'll do is we'll consult with Federal Highway and the Indiana Department of Transportation on that chapter. I mean, our forecasts were based on the best available information that we had up until roughly the middle of March, and we'll probably work with that. I hope that, Terry, does that answer your questions? I'm sorry, I went on and on there.
No, it does. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Pat, this is Erica.
Yes.
As you kind of mentioned, I think you are way ahead of schedule, especially based on the date we have for when you have to have your plan updated. It's a couple of years out yet, but I think it could be worth you and I, just along the lines you were just talking about with the financial projections and things like that. I think it might be worth you, me, and Ryan getting together, maybe with some NDOT planning folks and talking through that. I mean, we might, based on the time we have available, we might need to extend your timeline a little bit just so we can maybe include the bigger picture about projections. And I know the NDOT new STIP will begin development. So maybe if we have an opportunity to include some of that fuller discussion in your MTP, since it won't be updated again for another 5 years, it might be worth checking into that. But we can talk more about that offline.
Yeah, the advice that we received from the Indiana Department of Transportation is that, well, our last plan was updated in 2017, and that was very late in the cycle. And the information that we received from them is that we are due for another update here at the end of this calendar year. And then our anticipation is that we will be doing the update that we're doing this year is more of a policy orientation. The update that we would do in 2 to 3 years, probably 3 years, would incorporate in the availability of all the census data, which would allow us to remodel and recalibrate our model for the urbanized area.
Okay, so this is more like a voluntary update?
No, it's a mandatory update according to the directives that we've got from the planning department at INDOT.
Okay, well, let's talk more offline about that.
Okay, all right, sure.
Thanks.
It's Sarah here. A couple of things. One is that members of the CAC are already reviewing chapters of this updated MTP, and I would hope that members of the policy committee will begin to review this and give feedback to Pat and Ryan so that they have our ongoing input. I suspect that given the nature of our isolation at this point, we won't have the same kind of robust citizen involvement in this MTP that we've had in previous MTPs. So I think it is absolutely incumbent on us to step up and give that feedback to staff that they sorely need. That's it for me.
Kate, I saw you had your hand up.
Yes. So, I think what Erica brought up sort of addressed it, but should we assume then that the financial forecast chapter wouldn't be the best place for us to start when reviewing things, because there are going to be a lot of changes to that?
Yes, based on the knowledge that we have currently right now, vehicle miles of travel in Monroe County are down somewhere around, declined somewhere around 27, 28% during the last 6 to 8 weeks. We don't know what the vehicle miles of travel have done statewide. We just know for Monroe County. And the Monroe County data is based on metadata from cell phone use. In other words, cell phones traveling along the roadways, and we know that much. Given the decline in driving and vehicle miles of travel, the assumption here is that people are not buying gas, people are not renewing their license plates because Bureau of Motor Vehicles have been closed for quite some time. They're opening up, I believe, on Monday. And a number of other things have been put off. So therefore, we expect, or we anticipate, a hit on the revenue. And also with Bloomington Transit, Lou May has advised us that his ridership is declined 90%. That's 90%. I don't know if it's come back in the last week or two, but I kind of doubt it. So with Bloomington Transit's revenue being down, and with what we anticipate gasoline tax, consumption taxes being down, we expect the revenue forecast to change dramatically, at least for this calendar year, and most likely in the short term for the next 1 to 5 years, just because of the economic recession more than anything else.
And all of the current draft chapters, first of all, thank you for that. That was very helpful. And all of the draft chapters are on the city's website.
There's a link down here if you can see my cursor right down here.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all right there. We have the 2040, the current 2040 Metropolitan Transportation Plan is posted there. And then all of the draft chapters are posted there also. I believe there are 10 chapters that are posted thus far. one of those is in acronyms, but no, there's a lot of meat and potatoes there posted.
Yeah. So if the
website.
public wanted to take a look at any time, they have access to that. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And the one thing I want to emphasize too is one thing that's critically important for us, it's staff. It's the guiding principles. These are your mission, vision statements, and objectives, goals and objectives. Those are already out there. We've had no comments up to this point in time on the what I would call the vision statements or any of the goals and objectives. So we would ask, particularly for this policy committee, that you take a close examination of the guiding principles and please give us your comments on those. We know that there are several things that are out there that we as staff want to add, but we need directive leadership first from the policy folks.
Pat, sorry, this is Erica again, just a few questions.
Sure.
So regarding the draft documents that are out, was there like some sort of announcement made to the public that those are available and how people might provide comment?
I don't know. I will have to look. In other words, you're looking for a press release?
Well, I mean, just asking, was there, like if you put something out on the website with an ask, like, hey, these documents are available, you can provide comment via email, comment form or something. Sometimes that's received a little different by the public than if we just say these documents are available on our website. Because conceivably, a lot of your documents are available on the website and you're not really requesting comments, right? Like agendas and minutes, those are out on the website, but you're not really, you're not asking for comment on those. So I'm saying, was there something made to differentiate to let the public know they can provide comment to you all about these draft documents?
We did that in the form of our mailings for the Citizens Advisory Committee and the Technical and the Policy Committee. Citizens Advisory Committee list is something like 145 names out there. We did it through that, but what we can do is we can go back and make a press release, if that would help. And then the other anticipation is that we will be doing a public survey, a transportation plan public survey. I'll let Ryan speak about that.
Okay, I'm not saying you have to put it out. I was just asking if that were the case. And I think you already answered my second question, was there a survey? And really I'm thinking about on down the line or whatever, when you have to respond to the comments you receive, just trying to think through, how you all are capturing, those comments if people are submitting them in written form. So I'm not saying you have to do a press release. I was just trying to get an idea about how that information was put forth to the public. But then you said you are doing a survey, so that answered that question. And I had one, I guess this is along the same lines, which I think the survey can sort of fulfill some of this, but have you all or the committees considered giving any thought to some sort of auxiliary public involvement, maybe something you normally wouldn't do in light of the current situation? Or was the survey intended to fulfill that role?
No, the survey was one role. We haven't formulated a plan on how to do the rest of the engagement. It would probably be in the form of a town hall type of meeting of some type or another, using Facebook Live with a Zoom platform. We had preliminary discussions about doing a town hall type forum. Right now, it's difficult to get everybody's attention, much less anybody's attention. But our focus on doing that would be heavily in August, and then also in September, just prior to the adoption of the plan itself.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Matt?
I'll add a question and comment if that's okay.
Sure.
I appreciate the questions and about the public engagement side of things from Mr. Eiderban and Ms. Tate. And I think, it's worth continuing to think about. I know all of our April town halls were canceled. I do wonder if at least just trying something through Zoom and Facebook later this month and seeing how it goes might not be a bad idea. I think I've mentioned this in the previous MPO policy committee meeting as well. that I think for Councilor Wiltz and myself, it probably makes a lot of sense to work with our council colleagues in the county and the city to try to get the word out to our constituents. I know a lot of us have kind of 100 or 200 person long constituent email lists of people we've interacted with over the years and things like that. The city council also has a period for council report at the beginning of our regular sessions, and I'll make sure to highlight this next go around, but especially as we hit the public engagement period in August, it seems like that is going to be even more crucial than it sort of otherwise would have been, since we missed out on some engagement here in April, assuming, hopefully that things are that we're able to meet in person in August and kind of be back to something of a normal physical interaction by that point. But yeah, just wanted to highlight that and make the case for everybody to use the avenues you have to help highlight opportunities for public engagement and involvement in this process as well. Thanks.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for the constituent list idea and also announcing at council meetings. Mm-hmm. That's something we had not come up with. Okay.
Any other questions or comments on this item?
I'd just like to add thanks, Matt, because I was just taking notes to make sure I give our council updates this week at our meeting. Can the county website maybe link to the city's page with the drafts?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check on that as well then. Thanks.
Yeah. No, we'll have the documentation. Currently, I'm not allowed to post on the county's website, but we could make that available. Absolutely, yes.
Okay, that'd be great. I'll ask about it and put them in touch with you if they need anything.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, and I think also, Pat, if you have it in a PDF file and send it to us, we can work with our IT and they can put a link and upload the file on our website. So.
Okay. Yes, everything's in PDF, and I can send all that to you on Monday, first thing.
Okay, and then I'll get it put out there. I'll talk to our IT and get a link put on there.
Great.
Okay. Sure.
That's a great idea. Let's definitely end up doing that.
Great. The next item is the 2045 Metropolitan Transportation Plan Public Survey.
And I think it would also be a great idea to put this public survey on the Monroe County website as well.
Absolutely.
When it's completed next week, well, it's in review stages right now, but it should go out to the 3 committees next week, and it would be great if everyone on each of the committees could send that to their entire networks, whether it be through constituent meetings, what have you. And that will be on not only our MPO MTP website, but we'd be happy to post it on anywhere else where we can get the most feedback, because that will really help formulate what is going to go into additional chapters that have not been written yet. Yeah, Kate, did you have a question?
Thanks, Ryan. Is that then, I'm to assume that's a convenience sort of sample, like whoever wants to respond can provide input via an online platform, is that correct?
Well, yes, and let me back up. There's currently on our MTP website, there is a general public feedback form. I think that it's not a survey, it is just a general form for open-ended comments about the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. So there's 2 totally different links, but I would be happy to share that a link also, so it's not just on the MPO's website.
Would you mind checking on sharing the same sort of thing with Ellettsville if they have an online presence that maybe they could be included as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Ryan?
Yes.
Is that something we could even just share with our friends, like on Facebook, things like that? Are you okay with that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Access to the link. I mean, you're definitely able to share the link on Facebook with other groups you, I think, may end up benefiting from our 2045 MTP. We would end up wanting as much feedback as we can possibly get.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Ryan, would you want any outreach with you as well?
Yes, of course. I would just need to know the best, or I guess the link that we'll end up providing to, whether it be all of the MTP chapters, the survey, or the public comment form. All of those links will be available for all the LPAs to use on their websites. And we'll just let you know when they're ready to all be launched, so you can do them all at the same time.
Just a quick note to make sure
your question.
Sorry, just a call to be on.
That's
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut in.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I think that's great. Maybe Jason Bannock could help with the IU portion as well.
Perfect. Yep.
I just wanted to remind folks to be on mute if you have something else in the background. I think I can hear the mayor's press conference at the moment, so maybe just be aware of that.
Okay, seeing no more comments on this. Thank you, Pat and Brian, for all the hard work on this transportation plan. I couldn't agree with Terry more. A lot of work goes into this, and so we appreciate it. Going into old business, fiscal year 2021 to 2022, Unified Planning Work Program revised draft.
Okay, we brought before you, well, we brought a draft Unified Planning Work Program before the Technical Advisory Committee and the Citizens Advisory Committee in February. And then we also brought before the Policy Committee what I would call a working draft to you in March. That was just prior to the approval. Prior to our submission with the Indiana Department of Transportation for their review. The work program that we have here for you today is what I would call a final draft. This is revised in accordance with review comments received from the Indiana Department of Transportation. For those of you that aren't familiar with what the Unified Planning Work Program is, it's the MPO, or the Metropolitan Planning Organization staff contract of work that we will accomplish for the urbanized area with the aid of federal funding from the Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration, and Federal Transit Administration. The document itself is written out into what I would call major sections. We have a brief introduction. We have the budget, which is divided out by fund use, by matching agency, object class, summary budget, and contract service agreements. Contract service agreements are with Monroe County, City of Bloomington Public Works, and then also with Bloomington Transit to provide, well, with Monroe County and City of Bloomington, those are for asset management. And then we have a contract service agreement with the town of Ellettsville for what I would call asset management and also for traffic volume counting. And then a small agreement also with Bloomington Transit for onboard ridership counts. The work elements that are contained in the document itself are the administration public participation. This covers all the meetings that we do. And in fact, administration and public participation takes up almost 80% of our time. We do data collection and analysis, predominantly traffic analysis, traffic data analysis, and also crash analysis. Short-range planning and management systems, those are our transportation improvement program, in other words, our capital investments. Project programming, taking care of any problems that may crop up with projects, project management in terms of also quarterly reporting. Long-range planning is our Metropolitan Transportation Plan, which we just ended up discussing extensively. Transit and active transportation. Transit is in itself self-identifying by virtue of the fact that it's Bloomington Transit, IU campus bus, and then also rural transit. And then the active transportation is our bicycle and pedestrian coordination. And then other planning initiatives and special projects. We're doing a Title VI plan update this year, and that falls within that category itself. And then we have here I'll just go through the appendices. We have committee memberships identified. We have a cost allocation plan letter approval, which is on page 55. Abbreviations are the acronyms, the area map, the planning emphasis areas, which comes to us in the way of a formal letter from the Federal Transit Administration, Federal Highway Administration. Local operator match assurance, that's assuming that that assures us that Bloomington Transit, for the work that we're doing with them, which is approximately $4,000, that they have $800 in matching funds, and then an adoption resolution, the letter at the very end. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to go through this document or not, to look at what our planning emphasis areas are this year or not. Those include updating the planning roles and responsibilities, coordinating the operating manual with the Indiana Department of Transportation. This is INDOT's document. The MPOs will just be working with them in coordination. Traffic incident management, which is something brand new to the MPO. We've never been involved in traffic incident management before. This would be probably end up being a series of workshops and or coordination meetings with first responders in terms of traffic incident management. Local road safety plans, traditionally the MPO has not been involved in those either. Those have typically been an engineering function for Monroe County or for the city of Bloomington, but we'll be coordinating with the engineering departments and those two entities on local road safety plans, and also with the Indiana Department of Transportation. Public participation plans, we are updating our public participation plan this calendar year as a result of updating our bylaws. And those cover what I would call the planning emphasis areas identified. And then we have text identified underneath on how we will address every one of those comments. The budget itself is slightly larger than the previous year. I believe last year it was somewhere in the vicinity of $252,000 federal funding. But in reality, this year we're looking at $353,000 budget. We were required to prepare a projected 2022 budget. What we do is we just flatline that, assume that the funding that we receive this year will be the same as last year. Funding we receive this year is the same as next year. Federal funding this year, $282,905. Local match, $77,726, for a total program of $353,000. And then by funding, breaking it out into the elements, you can see administration ending up being the vast bulk of our work, $131,000, followed by data collection, which is a lesser role, but short-range planning, which is our capital improvement programming, $89,000, almost $90,000. And then long-range planning, active transportation, and other planning initiatives. And contract service agreements, here these are with the City of Bloomington Public Works, with Monroe County Highway Department, and for the town of Ellisville. And I'll be happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
Kate?
I have a question. How do you, or do you anticipate the budget in this being affected by the current emergency? And will there be a change in either the federal side or our ability to fund the match?
No, we don't anticipate any change in the budget whatsoever. We receive preliminary funding marks, I guess is what I would call those. We receive draft marks in January, and then we receive final funding levels, usually the latter part of February, the first part of March. The funding is allocated, planning funding is allocated to the Indiana Department of Transportation, and then the Indiana Department of Transportation parses out, if you will, the planning dollars to each urbanized area based on their population. In other words, it's per capita allocation. And these allocations are based on the last census, on the 2010 census. So the monies are already committed. I don't see any impact adversely in any respect on the budget whatsoever. For this, this is scheduled for initiation, or we begin all of this work by July 1st. All the contract work must be approved by the Department of Transportation prior to June 30th, and actually it has to be done by about the 1st of June or the middle of June. That's a long answer to no. We don't see an impact.
Okay, great, thank you.
I do have a question, Pat, based on what you've just said. You've said that our census data actually move the amount that we get from the federal government and from the state.
Yes.
Because of our current situation and the number of students who are not residing at this time when we are taking census, it would appear that our census data will show a tremendous decrease in population. So I'm wondering long-term what the effect will be on our funding.
Well,
I can answer this a little bit.
Go ahead.
I know that IU for the census is going to end up giving what the normal fall enrollment is to the Census Bureau. So I don't think it's actually going to affect Bloomington's and Monroe County's numbers at all.
Dave?
Ryan, is that just for students residing on campus, or is that the entire enrollment?
That is actually a good question. I know it's for students on campus, but the off campus could differ a little bit. Okay. I'm not 100% sure on that.
I know for those students residing on campus, IU just submits a group quarters count, I'm pretty sure, right, from what I've read. And other than that, I also am interested in what's going on to try to get students to complete that as if they're still in Bloomington, because it's such a huge amount of money that you lose just even per student. I mean, I'll look around and see what's going on with those efforts too.
Yeah, it's an important point to keep track of. I think I know IU has been going to pretty extensive lengths to make sure that they're getting as many students as possible, including those who reside off campus, to fill out the census based on their off-campus residents. And this issue, of course, isn't unique to Bloomington alone. It's every college town in the country, more or less, and you know, the Census Bureau are certainly aware of that too. So hopefully that will all be taken into account and figured out eventually, but certainly something to keep an eye on.
Anyone else? Questions? Any additional questions regarding the work program?
David?
Yeah, sorry, this might be too specific. I really liked this whole draft. I found it a great way to kind of see how all of these pieces fit together. On the performance measures part, I'm just wondering if, and again, it might be a stupid question, is there a document that has the performance measures, or is that sort of a work in progress right now?
No, we have that.
Okay.
The policy committee adopted performance measures established by the Indiana Department of Transportation. They adopted those in 2018. And then we had additional performance measures which were updated. Safety is one of those that was updated last calendar year. We anticipate another set of performance measure updates this calendar year. In fact, it should be coming somewhere around May or June. But yeah, I can send that to you. In the draft transportation plan that we have posted on the website, we have performance measures chapter, which is out there, and that's probably the best place to look where everything is combined together. And the performance measures are all those established by the current legislation. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So it looks like this is a voting item for approval for this unified working program.
Yep.
So would I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
So I have a motion and I have a second. Do I have any public comment? Seeing none or hearing none. Do I have any nays or abstentions for this item? Seeing none, the unified plan is approved unanimously. On to new business. Item A, draft 2045 MTP chapters and appendices for PC, CAC, and CAC, and the public review and discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we under new business or are we under?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, the MTP chapters. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. No,
Okay.
God, where am I at? Okay. I was looking at the wrong thing. As I'd previously stated, we have 10 draft chapters of the Metropolitan Transportation Plan posted on the website currently right now, and we'll go through a major distribution of that next week through different other platforms. The key thing here is to make you aware of the fact that these chapters are out there. They're ready for review. A vast majority of these have already gone through a preliminary review, either before the policy committee or the Citizens Advisory Committee or the Technical Advisory Committee, and then those were adjusted based on any comments that we received. So I would call these a 85, 95% type completion for each one of those chapters. And we stress to you that you actually look at the guiding principles, since that forms the entirety of the plan itself. We need to know if the mission, vision, goals, objectives are all meeting what we as the committee wish to pursue for the next 20-some years.
All right. Any questions for Pat? Seeing none. Moving on to item B is fiscal year 2020 to 2024 Transportation Improvement Program amendments.
Okay, we have 3 transportation amendment requests from the Indiana Department of Transportation. The first one is the addition of State Road 45 Bridge Direct Overlay over Indian Creek, 3.62 miles south of State Road 37. Preliminary engineering would begin in fiscal year 2021 using Surface Transportation Block Grant funding. Total cost of that would be $120,000. Construction would not begin until, well, the contract for construction would not be until the year 2024, fiscal year 2024. Also using surface transportation block grant funds. The cost of construction, $606,802. Total cost for the entire project is $726,802. Second one, which may be near and dear to some of the people here, State Road 46. This is ADA sidewalk ramp construction at the intersection of 3rd and College Mall Road and State Road 46 bypass. Preliminary engineering began in fiscal year 2021 using Highway Safety Improvement Program funding. This is 90-10 money. Total cost is $100,000 for preliminary engineering. Construction contract wouldn't be until 2022, again using Highway Safety Improvement Program funding, $180,000 for that. Total cost of the project is $280,000. This project came about because of an examination of the intersection itself. This intersection has been subject to a high number of crashes. Fortunately, no pedestrians, no bicycles. At this point in time, it's just vehicles instead. A vast majority of the vehicle crashes at this location were resulting from driver distraction. And I can't say anything more than that. State Road 46, the last project is State Road 46 bridge superstructure replacement, 6.04 miles west of State Road 37 at Jackson Creek. This is the westbound lane, and this is in the town of Ellettsville. Preliminary engineering beginning in 2021 using National Highway Priority Programming funding. Total cost $130,000. Construction in fiscal year 2024 using the same source of funding, $710,960. Total cost of the project is $840,960,000. I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
Seeing no questions. Again, this is an item that needs to be voted on for the amendments.
Move approval of the TIP amendments.
I have a motion.
Second.
And I have a second. Do I have any public comment on this item? Seeing none, do I have any nays or abstentions for this item? Seeing none, this also amendment passes unanimous vote. Communications from committee members, non-agenda items, so topic suggestions for future agenda. You're also talkative. Okay, seeing none. Upcoming meetings, Policy Committee will meet June 12th, 2020 at 1:30 p.m. Scheduled to be virtual also. Technical Advisory Committee, May 27th, 2020 at 10 a.m. virtual meeting. And Citizens Advisory Committee, May 27th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. virtual meeting also. I would entertain a motion.
Move to adjourn.
And I have a motion for adjournment. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Terry. So this meeting is adjourned.